Hey, how's it going? So, my last video did actually pretty well of the story of the girl that basically made my life a living hell. So, I'm doing another story because it did well. So, hopefully this one does just as well. So, this, as you can tell by the title, is I almost got arrested in middle school. So, this middle school is garbage. They didn't even call my parents. And I never fucking told them, because I'm not going to tell them that, because then they're going to get into a whole thing with the school, and I don't feel like starting all that. So, what happened was, the way this middle school worked was there was 8 periods. There's first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, eighth. Wait. Yeah, we skipped 7th. But, so, there was 3 grades, 6th, 7th, and 8th. And there's 3 lunch periods, 4th, 5th, and 6th. In 6th grade, you had in 6th grade you had 6th period, and in 7th grade you had 5th, and in 8th grade you had 4th. And the way it worked was there was 4 pods, and it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4 for 6th grade, 5, 6, 7, and 8 for 7th grade, and 8, 9, and 10. 8. What? I'm so bad at speaking. 9, 10, 11, and 12 for 8th grade. I was in pod 1, which is 1, 7, 12. And the way our lunches worked were, since there's 4 pods, 2 of the pods, the sister pods, as they were, it was random every year. I think 8th grade we were sister pods with pod 11, and we would go outside. It was a 50-minute lunch period. We would go outside, and then we would come back in 25 minutes through to lunch, and the other 2 pods would leave and go outside. So, this story time happens outside. They called it team time. And the way it worked was there was the building, and then you would walk out, and there was a big football field. And they would give us the whole football field. You could go do whatever the hell you want. You could sit around and do nothing. Or you could go all the way to the end of the field and play football, which is what I used to do, because it was fun. Or you could sit under a tree in the shade and just kind of chill. Because it was middle school, keep in mind, so we weren't allowed to use our phone. I'm in high school now, and they don't really care about using your phones in your free time, so it's pretty lit. So, the way this works is you walk out from the building and there's a parking lot, and then the football field. But the parking lot is pretty long, and some people play kickball in the parking lot sometimes. There's stuff like Kill the Carrier or something like that. And there's I think 4 or 5 dumpsters kind of lined up in the parking lot. So, me and this kid, I won't say his name because I haven't talked to him in a while, and he probably wouldn't want his name said. So I'm just going to call him, I'll just call him Ben. So me and Ben walk over to a dumpster, and he goes, "Hey, watch this." And starts just carving a huge fucking dick into the fucking dumpster. But the funny part is, this dick wasn't an average dick. He made the dick like 8 inches long. But then he made it coming off a giraffe. So he basically drew a fucking giraffe dick with a pencil on it, on a dumpster. And a teacher actually looked over and saw him doing it, and said, "Hey!" And I was about to start running, but by that time, they were already there. And since the teacher yelled, everyone was looking at us and they're like, "What are you doing?" I shit you not, Ben literally just looked and just said, "I am so sorry." And he's like, "Room 143, now." So, room 143 was basically the principal's office. Normally for most people, it's the main office and your principal's there. That's where the principal was. But for some reason, our middle school, we didn't ever go to the principal unless you were getting suspended or expelled. So I went to the room 143, and that's your counselor. So there was a woman, a dude. We're just gonna call the guy, which is who I had to deal with. If you know me in real life, his name is Mr. P, and I know my friend will know exactly who I'm talking about. That was just texting me about the last story, and I told him I'm gonna post this, so he's gonna know who I'm talking about. We're gonna call him Mr. Dickwad because I hated him. He basically what we were in, like, I there was a time in 7th grade where I think, oh my god, I remember, it was me and 2 other kids. I'll just say their real names because I'm still friends with them. Their name was Damien and Jacob, and we took a frisbee and had post-it notes and started making fun of Stephen Hawking writing sped wheelchair guy on a fucking thing, and then just drawing a bunch of pictures and then like a dick or two on it and fucking throwing it at people. And of course, this motherfucker, I think it was Damien, threw it and it went straight to a gym teacher. I was labeled as a witness. Thank you to Jacob. I love you. He has gotten me out of so many things by labeling me as a witness. And I had to go to room 143, and Mr. Dickwad was like, there's no need to be nervous. We're just saying, what, did you do any of this? And I'm like, no. He's like, well, what friends did it? And I'm like, I don't know their names. Of course I knew his fucking name, but I wasn't going to snitch on him. He's my friend. And I'm like, well, we know. And I'm like, oh, really? Who is it? And he's like, Damien and Jacob. So I'm like, oh, fuck. Oh, shit, he's busted. And, this was at the end of the day, too. So I had to actually get my mom to pick me up, because I had to miss the bus, because we got pulled out of our gym class right as the bell was about to ring so I could go out to my bus. And my mom comes and gets me and goes, what the hell? Why'd you miss the bus? And I'm like, because someone had a post-it note on a frisbee labeled sped wheelchair guy and started throwing it at people. And she goes, what the fuck, kid? It was the funniest thing ever. But, so that kind of just blew over. So I really haven't I never liked him. So when he saw me, he always gave us this, like, he's always played the good cop, bad cop, but there was no good cop, and he was just that dickhead. And basically, what he made me do was sit in a conference room with my friend, Ben, because I don't know if he wants his name said, and I had to wait for the school police officer, which was a woman, and I'm going to call her Officer Bitchosaurus Rex. Just kidding, we're going to call her Officer Luquifia. So she walks in and is like, so, what happened? And I'm like, tell him, Ben. So he tells him he fucking drew a giraffe with a fucking long schlong on the dumpster with a pencil. And she goes, oh, okay. So I'm going to list off what we can do right now. We can charge Ben with vandalism. And they can charge me with criminal affiliation. And I'm like, wait. How are you going to charge me with criminal affiliation? And she's like, and Officer Luquifia is like, because you were there. And I'm like, yeah, but I didn't do anything, and I didn't help him in any way, so how am I criminally affiliated? And she's like, because you were there. And I'm like, so was everyone else outside. You can't, what do you mean I was there? Everyone else outside was there too, so everyone's criminally affiliated. And she's like, no, you helped. And I'm like, how? I watched and laughed. Is that being affiliated? And she's like, yes, and I can charge you with resisting arrest. But I'm like, first of all, I was 14 in this, so I'm like looking at her and I'm like, I literally said, are you serious? You aren't arresting me right now. How are you going to charge me with resisting arrest? And then they were like, okay, you need to go out, because she was like about to fucking tase me because I was being a dick. Because I was not I don't deal with people's shit. That's why I would never be like a good manager at a restaurant. Because I cannot deal with people's shit. I have Tourette's. I would just tell them to sit the fuck down and shut up. Like, I was being a dick because she was being a dick. And she was gonna fucking tase me, so she had to be removed. And they said, okay, well, we're gonna forget all about this. We're gonna take you back outside. You're gonna erase what you did, and we're gonna forget all about this. And I'm like, okay. And this school system was so fucking broken. The reason they didn't call my mom, I bet you guys are gonna be, you guys are gonna think I'm fucking lying, but anyone who knows me is gonna fucking believe this 100%. I heard Mr. Dickwad and the other counselor that wasn't mine, I'm gonna call her Miss fucking Cunt. No, she wasn't that bad. I'm just gonna call her Miss Dawson, because she probably liked to fuck little kids like Shane Dawson. I heard him say, yeah, we're gonna forget all about this. We don't need to do all that paperwork. Yep. The reason they didn't try to arrest me is because this lazy motherfucker didn't want to do all the paperwork. Yep. So I went the rest of that day, and I made sure to tell my fucking friend, and they're like, Ben, you're a fucking dumbass, and Garrett, you're a fucking dumbass. And I'm like, and I literally said, Ben, you should fucking thank me. I just saved us both. I just saved you from fucking juvie time. And he's like, thank God you were there. Because my mom has always taught me, don't fucking be afraid of the cops. Stand up for yourself. And that is a good lesson. If you get like pulled over or something and the cop starts harassing you, don't fucking let it happen. Because I was getting harassed by that cop. And I think she's still the school cop there. And yeah, she was fucking harassing me. And I fucking stood up for myself. And she almost fucking tased me. So, I got off the hook. And they didn't put it on my record. But of course, later that fucking year, I called someone. I called someone a pussy. Because it was a kid on my bus. He doesn't really talk to me anymore. I'm just gonna call him Jared. He was like yelling at me because I was playing my music too loud and I couldn't hear him. And I just turned, and he hits me on the top of the head, and I just turn around and go, "Fuck was that for, pussy?" And that was like a week after that happened, and I got sent straight there because our bus driver was a bitch. And she sent me straight to the 143 the next day because that was at the end of the day. And he was like, "So what happened yesterday on the bus?" And I'm like, "I was listening to my music really loud, and someone asked me to turn it down, and I didn't hear them, and he hit me on the top of the head, and I turned around and yelled, 'What the fuck did you......'" What did I say? I think I said, like... I don't think I said it whether it was the first time. I was like, I think I said, "What the fuck was that for, pussy?" Because I knew who it was. And he was my friend. So that's the story of how I got out of almost getting arrested because my middle school was lazy. I will see you all next time. Peace.
I'm tryna fuck your friend. Girl, you a 5 and she a 10. I'm tryna fuck your friend.